I'm here with comic book writer Jim McCann. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Glad to be in Chicago.
How did you first get interested in making comics?
Well, I've always been interested in comics since I was a kid, and from the moment I started reading them, I told my parents that I was going to grow up and be a comic book writer. So, and when I moved to New York, within a month, I had a job at Marvel Comics. So my dream came true. I worked at Marvel Comics for 6 years in the office, and then started writing comics for them. And about 2 years after that, I wrote my first creator-owned book, and it's just continued to go from there.
You first started writing in television. How was the transition between television and comics?
I was part of the ABC Daytime Writer Development Program, which means that I wrote in for One Life to Live. I also wrote for theater as well, for the stage. But in doing the writer development program, soap operas and comic books really aren't that different if you think about it. There are plenty of people returning from the dead, having evil twins, and wearing their underwear on the outside. So, and it's also a lot of serialized fiction where you're dealing with characters who have existed for many, many decades, that have many decades of history, relationships, and very dedicated fan base who will let you know when you screw up.
Your first creator-owned book was The Return of the Dapper Men. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about it?
Return of the Dapper Men is a sort of all-ages fairy tale, and by all ages, I mean literally you will get a different reading level experience out of it, whether you're 6, 16, or 600. And it's about a human boy, Aiden, a robot girl, Zoe, and these 314 identical-looking dapper men who come raining down from the sky and bringing back with them time and change and what it means to grow up and put away your toys and find out what it is that you're supposed to be doing in life and your destiny, and move forward.
How was it working on your own book compared to working at Marvel?
Very freeing, and at the same time, with that freedom comes terror, because at Marvel, you have these amazing characters that, you've grown up reading, you have all of these decades to fall back on, defined voices that, like as far as Hawkeye goes, you can go back and read Mark Grunwald's stuff and like, okay, well, here's how he used to talk, so I'll be able to just tweak it a little bit here and move him forward. But when you're writing your own stuff, it's your voice, pure, unadulterated, and you just kind of pray that people really like you. And it's a little bit more like birthing a child, I guess. I don't know. I don't have the parts to birth a child, so I'm just guessing.
The artist which you worked with on Dapper Men, Janet Lee, which is in the booth right next to you, how was the experience working with her on Dapper Men?
It's amazing. Janet and I have known each other for close to 20 years now. We both are from Nashville, Tennessee. She still lives there. I used to live a mile away from her. And then I saw her work just grow and grow. She was a gallery artist and still is a gallery artist. But Return of the Dapper Men was her first sequential artwork. And she took the style that she was used to working in, which is decoupage, and did it all in decoupage for Return of the Dapper Men. So every page is on a piece of wood, layered and cut out and Mod Podge together and then scanned. And so every single page is like a hangable work of art right there. And it was fun. I brought her kicking and screaming into the world of sequential storytelling, and now she can't stop. It's like crack. But and it's also kind of like coming home, because we've known each other for so long, and we just really get along. We say we're each other's comic book spouse. So it's awesome.
And recently you teamed up once again for Lost Vegas. So was it like just coming home again, working with her?
Oh, absolutely. And this time it was a little bit different because she was doing pen and ink work for that, and then Chris Sotomayor was doing the colors. And so she's doing it more traditional on artboard. And it isn't, an all ages book. It wasn't a graphic novel. It's 4-issue mini, so we had to think of it in 22 pages, think of cliffhangers, and also be able to think of just more in terms of how a comic book is laid out as opposed to how an original graphic novel is laid out, which there are differences for it. And but it was still like coming home. It was a lot of fun reuniting and doing a genre that we both really love, and we were both really in the mood to do, and didn't know it. We both individually in the back of our minds were thinking, I really want to do a sci-fi book. I'm really into heists right now, so let's see what Janet's doing. And I called her up, and she was like, that's exactly what I want to do right now, too. So.
Is there anything you're working on currently?
Yes, I have an ongoing series through Image called Mind the Gap. Rodina Esquejo is the interior artist for that. He is also known for he became known for his cover work on Morning Glories. But he's just doing an amazing job on the interiors for Mind the Gap, which is a story about a young woman named Elle Peterson, who is found left for dead in a New York subway platform. But you quickly find it's no ordinary mugging. She's actually at the center of a much larger conspiracy that her friends and family are trying to either get to the bottom of or cover their tracks, depending on where they fall in this giant web of lies and deceit. And it's just been a lot of fun. There's a supernatural twist to it, involving Elle as she exists in this plane between life and death. And it's an ongoing that follows Elle's journey, and it's a finite ongoing, but I'm not letting people know when or how long, but we're nowhere near being done. So.
Well, thank you very much for talking with us, and I hope the future issues of Mind the Gap come out just as well as the ones out now.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Conman.